Yo, what's up with y'all? It's your creative dude, Eric. I'm gonna make this video today that I'm going to show you my digital art behind the scenes, and it's gonna be a tutorial. So, I've been showing you my time-lapses videos of me making digital art and some videos of me drawing, but this time it's gonna be digital art. I am a background designer, and so I make background coloring, gradient shading, gradient coloring, and I make a lot of shapes, a lot of fractals, geometry, and more, all of that stuff. And I'm going to show you a sample, a tutorial. And once before the video, so I'm gonna tell you and let you know that there's gonna be some audio issues, me mumbling, stuttering, and me sniffing my nose, because I try to be as professional as I can, but to be honest with you, I'm not always, and I don't always have a lot of technical words and technical terms of how to say things. So this is a give it a try. This is my first tutorial showing you how I do things, and it's going to get a little weird and all creativity and all that stuff, and that's what I'm going to show you today. And so hopefully you enjoy, and to let you know that this is going to be very long. It's like an hour and a half. So if you get bored, you could just watch my other videos or watch the other videos of my other channel. And if you like long videos, so this is it for you. Okay, so that is it. So hopefully that you can understand what I've gone through and how I make things. So, all right, let's do it. Okay, so this is where I go. This is pixlr.com. Well, this is the website right here. But I usually go to Pixlr E. That's where I do digital art and editing my photos. I don't go to Pixlr X because it doesn't have that much tools as this one does in Pixlr E. And I don't go to Pixlr P like that. I don't know why, but I just don't even try out. But that's what I usually do. Now, sometimes if I want to just do it quick and easy, then I would go to Pixlr X. But if I wanted to do more tools, Pixlr E. So this is where I go. And this is right here. This is me making duplicates, because this is how I make my object pieces. At first, it's just one big size, but I made duplicates so that I could make them as stickers one day. And you could just wear it on you or put on, like you could stick it anywhere once I print them out first. Me right here, I'm going to show you a sample. I'm going to make a sample for you guys so you could look at behind it. And right over here, in case you don't know how to use it, you could create new, and you could change the width. You could go numbers of changing the width or even changing the height. You could make your own sizes, or they could just recommend you sizes right here. I don't think I haven't tried any other of these things because I'm so focused on just creating things. I don't even care what size. I can just make the size I want, So you just change the width, change the height, and then you create your own size of the piece. Okay, so here we go. Now for painting, I usually go right here. This is the paintbrush tool that's on the left. I usually go, you could change the softness, whether you want to go hard or soft, And you could change the size of it right here. That. I use Control Z to undo it. Now for this one, oh yeah, that's a big size, where it goes hard and solid. Okay, so let me undo that. Okay, you can even change the shapes too. Like this one right here, or even this one here. Like you could do painted in light. You can even change the softness or just regular shape itself. Like I said, you can do it with this one, this one, this one right here. Hang on, whoa. You know, and do it in shapes, any kind of shape you want. You can even make your own shape. Kind of how I did with one of my pieces right here. And especially if you want to go geometry, now that's going to be a little tough. So I'm going to show you how. You know, you can make it like a scribble line or make it any other shape. And it does not really matter. You know what? Shapes, like selection tools. You can make your own shape using selection tools. This one's a Bezier. This one's a Polygon. This one's free, like free drawing and stuff. This one's magnetic. I'm not sure what that's about. I think I tried it before. I still don't know what's that one about. I use Bezier or even Polygon or free. But I like not Polygon. I like Bezier tool because it just gives you a weird little shape, but your own shape. You could change like the size of it. You could change, you could like bend the piece, you know? Any of that stuff you want. And you could even color it in. Doesn't matter what color. And this one's a 5-minute recording, so let me cut this off and I'll record it again. Now that I painted it, you could do other things. Like you go to filters and you could do effects on it. This is filter effects, so it's like you could do like 3D effects like beveling right here. And that means just like it's a 3D metal object or something. 3D metal object filter effect. like it looks like metal, you know, or a mirror, something like that. That's what it's mostly called. If I got the picture right, you could change like the shadow opacity, the highlight opacity, which like either you want it dark all the way or just want it light all the way, or even without the dark. But like I keep it a balance, at least. Just keep it mostly light, but I'd at least balance the shadow of it. And it will go like this. And I just deselect. You know, and that's how this one is made. Now for here, since it's just like a big thing right here, hang on, let me go this. You see that right there, blue thing? Usually it would go down like this. So like, if I erase the parts of it, it's just selecting an object instead of the other parts because there's no other parts that are part of the object itself. Now here that I did this, I'm going to shrink it down. And you know what? Sometimes you can even add a noise filter. So let me go back. This is filter right here, details, and then you go add noise. Just like that. It's kind of like a cement. But usually I would usually do it before I even go to bevel. And sometimes even drop shadow, which I don't do on this one. But that's going to be next. Well, hold up. Okay, I just added a layer. I thought I didn't know what to do. Okay. So I'm going to paint this one. I'm going to make this one a little sample object. Well, yeah, I'm changing the shapes. Okay, so right here, I'm going to make this one white. I'm just showing you things right here so that you could take a look. Kind of like things a little cool. And this one's kind of like a flowery shape. So I'm going to do noise. And then I'm going to bevel. There you go. Also, don't forget right here, the depth. So that if you want to see some bevel effects on it or you don't. Just want the regular piece itself. Well, before I even do that, actually, I'm going to duplicate it and just overpaint it. So like you could pour this one is the tool to pour the paint on the object. That's where my voice is not going well. I don't know why. And right here, I could just go here, shrink it down, and then I'm going to do drop shadow. Well, hang on. I'm going to duplicate it. This one, drop shadow. I look at my layers and just think, if I want to do some realistic shadowing on a piece, then I got to be careful. Do some drop shadow effects on it. And the opacity of the shadow. Okay, we'll leave it like this. So you could change the shadow of it, the opacity, anything like that. And then I'm just going to duplicate it. I mean, not duplicate, I'm going to merge layers to it. Now that I got that one down, I'm going to go back to this one. Bevel. And then I do this. It just looks better when you do the noise effect before you bevel, because when you do the bevel before the noise effect, it's more like a noise filter than the bevel filter. You know, you won't be able to see the metal looking effect afterwards. And then this one, I'm going to drop shadow because I'm trying to make it look realistic with shadows in it. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. And then, okay, and there we go. And then I just merge that into layers. Whoa, hang on, there's something I'm missing here. Don't forget this is a wand tool. So this one selects outside of the object. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to press the layer that has drop shadow effects. And I press Control X to cut. Or you could just go here to cut, copy, or anything like that. But it doesn't copy the outside of the object unless it's on a different layer. But it's not. So I'm going to cut this one. And that will make a good effect. And I'm going to merge that into a layer, the one with the shadow effect, and I'm going to do it on this one. Merge it, and I'm going to combine this one, merging it. There you go. This is the object itself. Now, sometimes you can try to use the wand tool on this one if you want to do more effects, but you have to be very careful with the tolerance of it, because if you go over it, it won't look right. You're just doing the whole thing. But I'm going to change it back and just select this one right here. And then you can do effects. Not only you get to do effects, you can also change the color. Well, let me colorize this one. You press the colorize and it'll change the color itself. You could go any color you want. Even saturation, which is more vibrant to the color. More light or darker. I'm going to go dark on this one. And let me cut this one out. I'm going to go this color. And then I'm going to bevel. It just looks good, man. I mean, if you don't know this, then this is new to you. Cool. Now there's some other color effects, but you have to be careful with the tolerance when you're using the wand tool. Okay, so there you go. Oh, don't do that. Okay, there you go. That's how you do this one. This is a little object that I made. Okay, so right now I am going to do. Now, if you want to do geometry, this is going to be a little tough. And right here in my layers, there's an eye thing that lets you see the object or you don't. Hidden or visible to the layer, which that's going to be next. So here we go. Okay, so here we go. Let's start with the geometry. You could do any shape or anything like that, or even use the selection tools to make your own shape for geometry. Now this might be tough because I'm going to show you how this one is going to go. I'll use it right here. And then this. And then right here. Okay. With that one little shape that I made. And then after that, I'm going to duplicate it after I paint it. Okay. Turn off. Okay. And then this one is me duplicating it. You could either press this or you could Control D to duplicate it. Okay. And then I would switch sizes right here. But I'm going to do the same area but backwards. Now this is what I kind of do. Now I'm merging to that together. I'm going to shrink it down, and then I'm going to duplicate it so many times and just rotate it around so that it looks like something is about to spin. Here we go. Now I might not get it perfect the way I want it to be, but I could fix it afterwards. Duplicate it again. Control D, or click to duplicate it yourself. Control again, rotate it. And then control again and rotate it. There you go. Now make sure you get at the right shape, the right proportion, or anything like that. And if you feel like you got it, okay, merge it all into one. Now when you merge, you can merge it all, but only when it's visible. If you try to merge everything all in one piece that you just created, but you accidentally merge into visible, that means the other objects are visible too. And look right here. That will be weird. You do not want to do that. So let me go back. I'm going to hide this layer and just merge of what's only visible. Now then, it might be as a background design, but you can unlock it by just pressing the lock. And then just cut that one since there are no other hidden objects or any other drawing pieces around. And there you go. You have your little geometry object layer. You could either go add the noise filter or bevel. And you could also blur it too. But here's the thing. When you blur it out, you don't want to make it like you just cut the piece apart. Like there's something else missing. Like right here. You see that right here? There's little cut lines. Like when I'm doing clouds, you got to make it like you're not cutting the clouds. You cannot cut clouds. Okay, so let me go back. There you go. This object right here, you got to make sure that it doesn't feel like it's trapped in a box if you're going to try to blur it out. So I'm going to blur it out again. That's what I was trying to say in the other video, but it didn't make sense. So every time when it's an object and you see those red squares, you're selecting the object. But now I'm going to paint it because right after I paint it, I blur it out. It will not feel trapped, but I got to cut the sides. So there you go. It doesn't feel trapped, but it is secure. So there you have it. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to blur it out this time. I'm just going to add noise and I'm just going to do bevel and add noise. You know what? You can even color it too. You could change the color. So right here, here's what I'm going to do. Instead of me painting it, I'm going to do the selection tools, the Polygon. And this one's going to be cool. There you go. When you're selecting the object, you can do anything. But make sure it doesn't affect any other sides of the object. Got to be careful where you select. How many is it? It's like, oh, there's 10. I did not do that right. Okay, let me start over. It's a pain sometimes because you have to deal with it. And be careful where you're selecting. So I'm just going to do these two right here instead of all of it, or even 4. Okay. So I'm going to Who in saturation, but press the colorize, and you change the color. You can make it darker blue, red, purple, pink, green, orange. It does not matter. It does not matter. And then I'm going to temperature. You could change the the temperature and tint. If you want any other colors besides the color that gave you so many options. It might not work, but that's how you do it sometimes. You know? Looks pretty, doesn't it? Okay. Now that I colored it, I'm going to add noise, but I'm going to do the selecting thing again to add noise on some areas. And then I will be done. Select. This is the Polygon selection tool. In case if you ask again. Okay, filter, add noise. It doesn't matter how you do it. You could change it however you want to. If you're cool without the noise, okay. I want to put usually I don't put it too much, but I want to make sure that you can see the effect of the metal looking object and the noise effect. Okay, that is it for that one. Okay, got this one and got this one. Now I'm going to do the background coloring. I usually use the gradient tool. Linear, let me tell you what that is. That is where it's just a straight line, but look how this goes. You change it at a different direction. If you do it straight, come up as a straight line, sorta. But here's what you can do. You can change the color. So this is what I'm going to change. I'm going to change it to a dark brown. Wait, hold up. I already did. So yeah, you could change any color. You could add this. You see that plus sign? You add another color. You could change it to green. You can change any other color you want. It does not matter. It does not. I'm going to go with gray on this one. It's kind of how I do it when I make my pieces. You change your colors for background design. And if you're okay with the color you have, then take it. So I'm going to do a straight line right here. Drop it down. And boom. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Now another thing you could do for background design. Let me check this. Another thing you could do is just use the rectangle ellipse marquee select tool on a new layer, and you can paint it over. But gotta change the blurriness of the painting, do soft painting, and then you do this. But you could change colors. This, and then this right here. You could do for darker areas this, Okay, and then for the lightness, this. Okay, there you go. Now I need to choose which background coloring is better. This one right here or this one right here. Hold up. Mouse is a little messed up. Okay, there we go. Whoa. Okay, there we go. So I gotta pick. Is it gonna be this one or this one? You tell me what's better. Do you like it when there's colors in line or colors that blend around but still have a direction of lighting? You know what? I'm gonna go with this one. Just put that one down. On this one's free selection tool because you get to change the size of the object anytime you want. The width and the height. You can move it around, squeeze it, or shrink it, or change it, anything like that. But when it's fixed, you just only change the big size. The size, small or big. You don't change the width or the height. You just change the size the way it is. Okay, so I'm going to go with this. And there you go. Now, I'm going to duplicate this one again. And I'm going to flip it. This one's vertical. You get to flip it down. And then I duplicate it again. Flip it back. Up. But I will merge this one with layers so that I could cut it. So that it makes like a realistic piece. And I'm working on showing you how I make the reflections of it. Hold up. Okay, there we go. Now, I don't know how I'm going to make it a good direction of this one. So I'm going to put this. I'm going to delete layer 3. If you think I shouldn't delete layer 3, man, I'm sorry about that. I'm going to switch this layer up. Whoa. Okay. And then this one, I'm going to put this one back up. This one, I'm going to shrink it. I'm going to shrink it down. I usually just do a fix. I don't mess up with it. I just leave it the way it is. Just shrink it down. And then this one right here. I'm going to shrink it down just a little so that you'll be ready for this one. Okay. I'm going to make another object layer. That's also geometry too. So that would be next. Okay, here we go. This is going to be me doing another object layer. This one is making an object from a freehand selection tool. Yeah, freehand, Polygon, Bezier, magnetic. I still don't know what that does, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to change it to red. Going to paint it down. And then it doesn't matter how you do it, but this one I'm going to soften it so that I can be able to change colors and blend it. And that is what I'm going to do for this one. Now sometimes it's not really simple to blend your colors. Sometimes you have to just blur it out again until you really feel like it's mixed and blend through. So it's kind of hard these days to do it like that. Now I'm going to go crazy with this one here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go very crazy. This one is bevel. I'm going to use bevel on this one. And then I'm going to use noise. Hold up, let me use the selection tool first. You know what? Never mind. Let me change the shape of it. Now I'm going to do it again. This one, you just do it one time and you start over. This one, you can select it again. This one takes away the selection. So I'm going to add selection again. And then filter, I'm going to add noise. Trust me, believe me, this is going to get weird. I promise. And then I'm going to cut the other side since there's no other objects there. Going to shrink it down, duplicate it, and then I'm going to merge them together. Do another geometry again because I enjoy doing these weird things. You're not going to understand why I'm doing this. I understand how crazy you think I am. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Okay, and then doing this. And then I'm going to merge that. But here's what else I'm going to do. The Polygon selection tool. And then going to this tool right here, transform, and then move it together. Just can't believe how weird this is. Whoa, don't do that. On second thought, let me start all over. Just go back. Going to duplicate it again. So I can make it the geometry however I want to. Then I'm going to do it again. Okay, that's just plain weird, man. You know what? I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to do it. Let me cut off the background. For now, just merge it all visible. Whatever, I'm going to leave it like this. I do not care. Change the angle just a little bit. Make it okay, save it so. Same angle, change it again. Okay. Boom. Okay. Boom. And boom. Okay. Now that I got this one, I'm going to shrink it down and put it at this size. Now these lines right here, you put it at the right position where the other object is. And that's how I do it. I'm going to put them a little closer together. And then I'm going to merge them too. Get after, I'm going to put them in position. And then here's what else I'm going to do. Duplicate those both. Change the area. It's a weird little selection, but I'm going to transform by just moving it apart. Sorry if I scared you about my throat. I'm trying to be as clear as I can. Do it again. I move it with my keyboard arrows instead of just moving it because it doesn't feel right at the position. Okay, so I'm doing it again. Okay. Cut the other areas that are never even there, and I'm going to shrink them up again. Okay, the next video will be for me to show you how I do reflections. Okay, so now sometimes I even do shadows on the objects, because it would depend on how the reflection is in the light that is towards the object. So I either would just leave it like this, or I would just paint the darkness over it, paint it black, so that I could show you the difference of the shading in the black and white. I mean, not the black and white. So I could show you the shading on the object. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to this layer right here, and that is the object in front that is at the back. I mean, not the front. I'm saying the one that's closer. I'm selecting it right here. This one's the outside selection. And then I'm going to this layer right here, which I did the shading. I'm going to cut it. Control X. That's how the shading is. And I would erase some of it if it's too much dark shading, if it's too much. So I'm going to erase some of that. Or it'd be better if I just leave it. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like that. And then I'm going to merge that one into this one. There you go. I'm going to do it with the other one too. But I'm going to be careful with the shading because when I shaded it dark too much, hold up. When I shaded it dark, it was way too much. Oh, wait, no. I need to add a new layer. Because if I try to do it at the same layer, I'm going to have to erase it and it'll mess up the object. It will. So it doesn't, and so please do not do that. Okay. See if I got that right. And then I'm going to erase it a little bit. Just a little bit. And then for this little layer, I'm going to scoot it up. So hopefully I get the balance of shading. Okay, there we go. And then, oh wait, let me get that one out of the way. Okay, so now I'm going to select it, the wand tool, and then go to this layer. And this is the outside of the object from the other layer. I'm going to cut it. There you go. Either you can erase it again or just leave it like that. Merge it down to the other layer, and boom, there you go. That is how you kind of get into the shading of where the light is pointing towards the object. Okay, next is going to be the reflection. Oh, wait a minute, one more thing. A fence or a mountain that I'm going to make. Okay, here we go. Let's make a little mountain or a little fence. Now here's what I'm going to do. Going to the selection tools, use the freehand. Like you can make anything you want out of it. Gonna make a little mountain or some little squiggly line that will block the area. And then do this and do that. There you go, that's a lot of selection, but here's this. I'm going to use the square selection tool, and I'm going to use the selection to remove it. So you can do that. You can change it and remove it, and that's like cutting the selection, which is why that's what it does. There you go. You can even do it with circles or squares. You can even make a little creative little mountain. You could do a little shape on it. You could do a little square on it. Oh, you could even do the other selections, like the Polygon or the Bezier tool. Just make sure that you use the selections to remove it. Dun, 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 dun. It's kind of a little weird, but you could do it like that. Or if you don't like how it is, then just undo it and just do other selections. Now for the Bezier tool, I might not have told you, but you click on this one or hold, but you have to do it again because so you can bend it the way you want to. And do it again. And then again. And then again. And then you could double click it if you like it like that. I mean, with the Bezier tool, you have to double click it in order to bend it again, or just leave the selection tool off. You know what? I'm good with like this. So, next is I'm going to paint it. Different colors. I'm going to use red on this one. And then I would change colors. I'm going to change it to blue this time. Believe me, do you think this is weird? Tell me if you really think this is weird. Doing the orange. You know, don't mind me messing around, because that's what I love doing anyway. Okay. And then I'm going to do black so that you could do the darker areas from below. Okay. There goes that. You could either leave it like this or do another color of painting it white so that you could get lighter areas of where the light is pointing at. Sometimes I don't need the light. I don't need another color of white unless you shrink down the size. And you probably can. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. And then add noise. You know what? Since some of them are outside of the selection that are not part of it anymore, I could do bevel on this one. Usually when I make a fence like this, I could just add noise. Since some of it is apart. I'm going to do this. Wait, hold up. Change that back. Okay. Because I was doing a selection of removing the selection. Okay, so this is a new selection. I'm going to do bevel. Oh, that's lighting. But darker one, I'm going to do it like this. And you could add dehaze. So that's like darker color, stronger color. And for like deeper dark details, I think. You could do that with Glamour too, but there's a difference. It shows more light. And it's a little blurry than dehaze. So I'm going to do a little bit. This is good enough for now. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, let me get that off. Control D for deselect. Okay, so here's what I'm. Oh, wait a minute. There's also another thing. Invert selection, outside selection. So that means you don't do this. You don't do any effects on what's inside those blues. The blue ones, you don't do anything. You only do the effect on what's outside of it. So that means you could do effects on any others, which is pretty cool, right? And then for this one, sometimes I will paint over the black down there on the bottom, or I would go to dehaze so that it shows more darker areas. But I have to be careful with it because the other colors change. And then for this one, I could use the wand tool to cut the selection, and then I could just paint it black for more darker area. And there you go. And that's how you make a little fence or a mountain. And then I switch it to here. Okay. Cut off the rough edges. Cut that off. Boom. And there you go. I know some of you are going to ask me, why are you making it like this? It's because I'm an artist, I have imagination, and I am so curious about the unknown. I love making this stuff. I like making things weird. It's awesome, it stands out, and I don't need to use somebody else's photo for photo manipulation and to make my own piece. Because if I'm using someone's picture or anybody else's object or any other references, then I'm not doing my own work. I am remaking the pieces that they made. That's why I create my own stuff, my own weird things. Here's also another thing I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little cloud or smoke so that it looks realistic. And there's wind. There's like, at least there's like wind or something flying around. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, wait. That's not the right size of the sketchy thing. I use sketchy pen to make the clouds. Use any color you want. Does not matter. And then this one I'm going to blur it out after I paint it through. Okay. Going to blur. There you go. Ta-da! Made a little cloud. Colorful cloud. This is some weird stuff. I know that. Believe me. Like, I'm curious about all of this. I'm curious about what I do. Just trying to make sure the cloud doesn't feel trapped in the box. That's where you see the little cuts. Okay. And then I'm going to shrink it up. You know what? Let me erase it again. Okay. So that it gets a little wider. And then put it however I want to. And there you go. Right now, I'm going to make a little star or something. Usually I don't always do it, but I'm going to make a little bit of it this time. You could do it with shapes like stars, any of that, like outer space. You could do that. And sometimes where you see steps, you change the distance of where you're painting, like this. Like connecting the dots, right? Oh man, that's just another idea. But you know what? I'm going to do it in the next art piece. So I'm going to put this steps back. I'm just going to paint it around myself. Dot, 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 dot. Okay. And then I'm going to shrink it down so it's like cute little dotty dots. The little stars, if that's how you say it. I'm going to duplicate it. Merge that in. And duplicate that. And then merge that. Going to tilt it. And then I'm going to do it like this. A little background thing for the background design. So it makes it a little cute. Oh, since it's a top layer, I'm going to put it in the back of the layer. Okay. Okay, now let's do the reflection. I know y'all been waiting for that. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hide some layers that I don't need right now and just focus on what I can do from here. Since I already did the reflection of the background already, I'm going to do the reflection on the object. Do it on the fence. Wait, hold up. Since I flipped it, I have to hide this one so that I don't accidentally select another layer and then mess it up. And then after I flip it, I shrink it down, do it at its size. Should have done it like this. Okay, I already did that. And then for this one, duplicating it as well. Flip it over. Oh wait. Let me put this on right here so that you can see it. And then I shrink it down. I flatten it. If that's how you say it. Yeah, flatten the object. How could I not even say that right? Man. Okay. and then just like this, like that, so that it feels like there's something to another world of another star and other areas of this piece. That is how I do it for that one. And then I'm going to merge that one. Make sure I get it at the right position. If it's good, like that. And then this one, I just hide that one since I already done the reflection on it. This one right here, I'm going to add, did I duplicate it already? Wait a minute, no I didn't. I did the wrong one. Okay, this one. Duplicate it. Flip it over. Flatten it to make sure it's at the right size. Make sure it's the right direction. Okay. That layer in the back of it, since I copied it, I'm going to put that here with this one that's flattened and flipped. So whatever you flipped backwards for the reflection, you gotta put that together so that you'll be able to merge it. And then afterwards, we're going to do the liquefy, the water reflection effect. But after this one first. Hide this one since I'm done. Then this one, since I'm done, I'm going to do the objects on the one that's in front. Okay, so you see these objects right here? This one, I'm going to hide it for now. I'm going to do this one first. Flip it up. You see that little geometry? It kind of looks cool, right? But you know what? That's not going to really happen. I'll do that the next time. Going to flip it over, flatten it so that it's at the right size and the reflection of it. The right reflection. Because sometimes it's hard to know where the right reflection is of where the light is pointing at. After you do that, I'm going to take that, put it where the other flipped ones are at. The reason I put that one on top is because the other layers, the one you see on top, so that it looks like you know where the reflection is at. Like you know that it looks actually real. I might not say my words right, but I don't need this one anymore. Now this one. Duplicate, flip it over, move it, and flatten it. But I have to be careful with this one because it's not at the right same angle. It's not at the same angle. So it gets a little difficult. I'm gonna have to shrink this one down a little bit so that it can put me at a right angle. Okay, now I got that one. Going to flatten it again. Move it up. Change the size of it. that one and put this one, the ones that are flipped backwards. Now that's done. Now, this one, the clouds. Flip that one, flatten it so that you know where it's pointed at. But for the bottom, I'm going to put that one down behind everything else so that you get the real reflection. Whatever I say may not make any sense, all right? So now, changing that layer, switching layers. Okay, what is this one? Okay. Now let me put this one on top of that flipped over fence. Cut this one down. Since I already done the background of it, I'm going to cut that one down. Now that everything is hidden, I can merge what's only invisible. So, here we go. There you go. Now you have it. Reflection. Now on to the next part. Okay, I'm so using the eraser so that I could cut other parts of it since there's no other selections or any parts of the object. Put the stars back up. Okay, since I'm safe, got this one down. Put everything back visible. And there you go. Kind of looks real, right? But there's one last thing to do. Select this layer, and then you go to Liquify tool. I use push. Now sometimes what I do for objects, like geometry or anything like that, I sometimes use swirls, shrink, or enlarge, and sometimes restore, just to get that effect back into its original object layer. Just to return it back from making an effect. Okay, I usually like shrink it down to like 10 or 20, because if I do a big reflection, look at how this will be. That would be too much. Oh, wait a minute, the strength. I usually do it around here, but if I do a bigger size like this, guess how weird it will be. You don't want to do it like that. You want to shrink that down so that it looks like a water effect and the water is moving. And you could change the density of it too. I don't know if that affects a bit more, but the strength, it does more effect. But I'm going to lower down the strength a little bit so that I could get the density and still have the strength of the water effect, the liquefy. Okay, so I'm going to do it left and right, back and forth. You can do it around here, around there, to make sure that the object underneath is actually doing a water reflect move. Now, if you want to do it some more and add more strength to it, okay, you can do that. But you got to be careful with the strength. And I usually lower it down to like 5 or 10, or even lower. I'm going to do it to 5. I'm going to go a little closer on this one. Okay. And then I'm going to do it again, but for the front. For stronger, so that it looks like the water is moving in front instead of here in the back. So that it has more water reflection distance. You can change the size you want. You gotta be careful though. You want to do other water move reflects. Okay. And there you go. Now sometimes it could be a little weird, like after I do the liquefy, I either have to erase it or just put it underneath the background layer. Hang on, let me do this again. I would resize it if you don't want any other weird effects on it. And go on. And just like that, there you have it. You have your little scene, your little weird scene. You see that? Water reflection right here. You done the object pieces, and you flip it over to do the water reflect, even the clouds. You done it with the fence. You done it with the background. You kind of see it with the little stars up here. If you made it this far, congratulations. I'm proud of you. Okay. So now that I've done it here, I'm going to add a signature. Whoa, hold up. Okay. Just let me put that one up. Let me open up and look at the design. Okay, right here. That is my logo design as a signature. Whoa. Gonna color it down. Gonna copy it here. Go to fix so that I could just shrink it down. Now you see that when I shrink it down, I usually just do the bevel effect so that it looks more stylish. And that's what I kind of do with my objects, so that it looks more stylish, looks more cool and crystal. That's what the bevel effect is. The little crystal filter effect. Something 3D-ish. Okay. Now for your signature, you could put it anywhere. You could even put it behind the object layers. Just let me switch it up real quick. Whoa. Wrong selection. Okay. You could even put it here to hide it. Or this one in front of the fence. You could barely see it. You know, mess around your signature. Just make sure you sign it. However, and make sure you own your artwork that you made so that people don't steal it. And make sure you please save it. You know, all that. You know what to do. All right, that is it. Now, one more thing. I'm going to hide these layers, the ones that are done. I've already saved my project already, but I want to show you one more thing. Maybe I haven't showed you before, but if you want these objects saved, if you want to keep them, you should save them just one time. You know, file save, the object itself, and you just go to your folder. It may not show up here. And you can name it however you want to, untitled object, or anything like that. Type it all you want and save that. And then hide that layer. And then if you want to save this one right here, or this one right here, of course, save that. And the reason I want you to save your objects so that in case if your computer crashes again, or if it starts to crash, you have those object layers saved. You could go back to your work. You could go back to your project that you just started on, that you're in progress on. I've dealt with that for years, where I struggled with a computer crash. It would take off like it would struggle crashing, and I wasn't able to save the objects. So you might as well save everything so that you could go back to working it again. You know, you could go back and finish where you started. That is the best part of it. It really is. Especially your background design. If you loved how your background design is, I suggest you save that. So in case if it crashes again, you could go back to it. I've had many times where it crashes. And I've been on this Pixlr.com, this online Photoshop, I've been using it since 2016. I've been using it for 6 years. And I've learned a whole lot about it. I've learned to develop and use what I have to make the piece that I want and to manipulate my photos, do more effects on it if I wanted to. You know? And so there's that. So yeah, always be careful with how your computer is. And it used to crash so many times because I didn't save it, or it was just the app itself. And so it doesn't crash that much because it is updated. It was a better update. But always save the parts of your work so that you could go back to it in case if it crashes again. All right, that is it. You save all that. You can do anything you want with it. Okay. I keep saying that is it, but I mean it this time. That is it. Like, dislike. If I didn't make sense, dislike or comment. If it made sense, and if I showed you everything, like and comment, what do you think? And if you have any more questions, let me know. Email me. I'll tell you about the email. Look at my website and other products that you want to buy. And hopefully that this video that I made for you to teach you how to create how I create, hopefully you can understand. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's not for everybody. But this is my perspective on it. All right. Y'all have a good one. See you on the next one. Peace.